from that sterling performance by the last key teams that were representing their countries at the World Cup. Yes, France coming in second and Argentina coming in first. We get to discuss that, and we shift gears as well to discuss politics right here in the country as we celebrate that historic moment. I mean, the world coming together to appreciate those ones that really, give a sterling performance all through the whole month process of the World Cup. Welcome on board. My name is Linda Alela, and we're almost not just sort of loosening up, being that festive season. I hope that you had a great weekend and looking forward to greatness on this Christmas week. Karibu sana. And once again, my name is Linda Alela. This is Morning Cafe. And of course, it's good to always have you as you also interact with us. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Alela TV47KE. We get to very important conversations almost straight away, just taking a look at what is happening in the world of news, celebrating those World Cup moments, looking at what is taking center stage right here in the country, looking at the process of governance that is for the Kenya Kwanza government, and just getting to understand what have they managed to do in this moment where the clock is almost ticking 100 days of governance. And in 100 days, they had promised to do so much so, but just what have they achieved, what have they not, and why have they not, and what do they seek to do to make sure that all these promises that they gave to the people of Kenya, then they are able to achieve. Some have asked, where is their manifesto? And we'll be having those ones that are diehards of the Kenya Kwanza government to try and unpack that for us, as well as those ones that align themselves with the Azimio One Kenya Alliance, not really to criticize, negatively, but perhaps for us to have a conversation that would be helpful for us to achieve greatness in this very dispensation. So karibu sana. Please make sure that you keep me company all the way to 9 a.m. We're doing it a little bit different, beginning at 7 and ending at around 9 a.m. just to tell us that we're in that holiday mood. So please make sure that in these 2 hours, then you're able to grasp anything, you contribute to the conversation, because it's incumbent upon us to have these ones for our own benefit. Later on the broadcast as well, we'll be hitting on questions of health. That is 30 minutes of the last segment. Then will be about anxiety and just getting to understand how we can deal with the same. Is it a disorder? Is it a health problem? Well, we'll be getting to have answers of that from the medic that will join us shortly. And also the gentlemen that will be joining me are already on a standby, and so we'll be looping them in shortly, just so we get into this very, very important conversation that we are about to have. And I'm glad that even as the year, comes to an end and it feels like it's already that holiday season, we still do not lack individuals that are willing to come out and speak of the matters that are of importance to us. It is very, very important that we get into this conversation. I know it will be more or less of a marathon, just trying to wind up the year and getting to understand what has played out politically, because I look at them and I realize that they are more of, politicians than footballers, than medics, than anything else. So allow us to just loop them in shortly as we get to this very, very candid conversation. Dr. Peter Mbai is with us. We have Peter Mushendu, Eric Ragalo, as well as Stan Alusio, who joins us for the very first time. So just allow me to do it officially. Look like you're sunk. Are you okay? Hiyo kiti mbona inakaa kama iko chini?
No, I think my weight.
Oh, really? Yeah, good, but it's fine. I think
after we lost the elections, we've been eating nicely.
Oh, ama ni gaining weight because of stress? Because there are people who gain weight because of stress.
Hustlers are suffering.
Hustlers are suffering a lot. But Mushendu sort of, is hitting the gym, I think.
No.
Ragaro here probably has not recovered from the rousing August.
And until yesterday, then there's the France loss again.
I have to say it's very disappointing that the Red Browns did not win the World Cup. I was a staunch supporter of the Red Browns. But you have to give it to them that they have come from all the way. They won in Russia.
Yeah.
They have gone all the way back to the finals. And the same way Kylian Mbappe announced his arrival in Russia, has also announced his stay in the World Cup by clinging on to the golden boots. And to the coach of France, it's an amazing journey. He won.
Was a stunning performance. Let's give it to them.
He won in 1998 as a player. He has won it as a coach, and he has gone back to another final. So
allow us to introduce yourself, you people officially, first of all, before we get to that, so we can also, at least weigh in on this. For the very first time, I think I know so much about football. I have all my how I wish for a moment that this was a sports show, because I would have managed to, take you guys on it. But all the same, briefly, we'll just comment as to the events of yesterday. We cannot fail to do that. Eric Ragalo, the first speaker, political analyst. Thank you so much, Dr. for creating time to be with us. And governance expert Peter Mushendu, asante sana for creating time as well. We have Dr. Peter Mai, governance expert. 100 days. Zimefika ama zimebaki ngapi?
Ndio tuko sasa. It's now, yeah, because now it's coming this week. But now this is the time to release.
This is the time to speak of it.
Scorecard, everything done. We look at it. That is it.
All right.
What has been fulfilled.
Okay. Karibu sana Stan Alusiola, civil rights activist. Asante sana. He's in a mission of getting 1 million signatures to for us to amend the constitution. I don't know how fruitful that would be.
I know Stan very well for many years before even he joined the civil society. And I can give you his credentials. He's such an honest person.
Oh.
Yes. But about change of constitution, they're on the right track.
Yeah.
They're the Wananchi. We want to change our constitution. Of course, we are following what was said by the Supreme Court. However, Stan will have an opportunity to tell us really what the constitution which they want to change really has. And I'll be glad to help them get the signatures. Should we have Health Service Commission?
They have that incorporated?
Should we have Ward Development Fund?
I think they have that incorporated.
Should we have rotational presidency? Yes. So some of the things I will talk about which I feel should be there. Other than that, I'm very happy Argentina won. At least a true country won than a fake country that was running.
Just how fake can the
fake country where how would you have all blacks in a World Cup? Let people go back to their country and fight. You had 4 Senegalese. You had 4 Senegalese in France in that team. If they were in Senegal, 4 of them, where would be Senegal today? So that tells us Africa, clean our houses. But either way, uhami nyumba ya mamako sababu hawana viti uende kwa boma ya mwingine because kuna viti. So the fact remains, a true country won against a fake country.
Interesting.
No, I think
Peter Mushendu.
Yes, I think Ragaro is being melodramatic. Let me tell you, the father to Kylian Mbappe, who comes from Cameroon, approached the Cameroon FA so that Mbappe could play for the Cameroon national team. The money he was asked to cough so that his son can be shortlisted into the team was so much. Let's not beat France because they have given an opportunity to those young people to play football, what they love. Let's call a brav to the African football associations, which are very corrupt, which are making sure that our young people miss a point to go and pray. So, I mean, if France has opened its hands to these prayers, and of course, the French or the colonizers, if you say in quotes, there is a very serious relationship. In fact, in the European countries, they host the biggest number of African people who live in Europe. And I mean, there is a reason why we have set regulations, FIFA regulations, up to what time would you pray for which nation. Today, the son of the Liberian president is a player of the American national team.
And the Liberian president himself was such a staunch,
now, France is not fake. In fact, I would say that France is one of the nations that has embraced the African talents. Yes, it's one of the nations that has embraced the African talents. I don't know where Ragara was when Riri and Thuram, when the rights of Thierry Only, who have their roots in Africa.
Yes.
And I think for me, in that World Cup final, the French were the most African team in the World Cup.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate they have not won. But I have to give it in.
Let's give it to them.
I have to give it into the GOAT of the tournament.
Yes.
That is Lionel Messi. I mean,
his last
he can now officially be inducted to the Hall of Fame, having retired, won everything there is to win in the soccer. I mean, I was reading his story, how he left Rosario, his village in Argentina at 13 years. Are you aware that Lionel Messi went to Spain to seek for medical treatment? He could not walk.
Barcelona.
And that has blossomed into one of the best players you have in the World Cup. So,
and he goes with the golden ball.
Congratulations to the footballing nation that is called Argentina.
Yeah.
People don't know that in this World Cup, the government of Argentina had banned 66,000 fans from traveling to Qatar because of hooliganism. That is how much they love soccer. Wow. And if you could watch the videos and the excitement at Buenos Aires, because there it was around 3 in the afternoon on a Sunday, it is just amazing. So we have to consider and give it to Argentina. Kudos, you have made it from 1986 to now is over 30 years.
Reminds us of the days of Diego Maradona. Really know the very first times, and they've done.
I love the fact that Messi has been offered another chance to prove him. You remember that in 2014 they were in the finals. They were facing Germany. Yes. So I think for me, they did not win by chance. But there are those people who are saying, and I've seen some people who write on Twitter that Saudi Arabia has won the World Cup because they beat Argentina along the way. But we really appreciate what they are doing.
I know, Daktari, you are busy with your Mwakenya. Just let me give you
on that. No, very important. Yesterday was historic.
Yes.
I want to admit from the word go, I'm not an added fan of football, but I don't miss World Cup.
Yes.
Because what else are you going to be saying you are? Where are you?
It's an opportunity for the ladies to say that they love happens for years. Yes. I mean, we need to be patriots to the world. Yeah. We are citizens of the world. The same way, we are happy when the whole world is watching Kenya. That's true. Take the wins in. It's only important. This is a game that brings the whole world together. So I'm normally very keen, especially from quarterfinals. I watch every game and I sat through. I saw what happened. Two things. One, please, I could see where I was seated. There were so many guys who were supporting France quietly. I mean, they were just quiet, and then they could. And then I said, these guys have already, all of them have put a bet. That's why they are so emotional. Please, why I don't? Why I don't so much put because I cannot handle the emotions.
Their team.
The pain, the pain, and then football people, they put everything there: emotions, money, psychology, kila kitu. So you can corrupt. So please, I want to urge people. I like certain things in life, where you jump from here to go there. It's too much tense. You could see the penalties. I mean, you can feel somebody wanting to cry. So I want to say, I wish the best guys who love football, but for me, the biggest lesson was this. Now, the winning team got about 5 billion Kenya shillings, right? Any team that got into, even the one that was last, got at least 1 billion.
They got something.
1 billion. They got 900.
My question is this. Sure. We cannot be here priding ourselves as one of the best African countries. And we cannot even get into among the 32 countries. That's the biggest challenge for us. Look here, we waited, we escorted people to earn millions and billions of shillings the whole 1 month as a country. People, our challenge is, please, did you hear AFCON? We are going to host AFCON here, and the AFCON in 27. Can we, the simplest things the minister should assure us, I mean, they have added the number of teams, African teams qualifying for the next one. That is the least we expect. Kenya needs to be, and where to start, let's change that name.
You know, we gathered some bit of facts, Daktari, and
Yeah.
they said this time around we had 32 teams.
32
but now we're having 48 teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Africa has 11 chances.
Has 11 chances?
Yes.
That is a risk. Let me tell you, you know, it's one thing to celebrate and escort people to earn billions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But it's very shameful. Kenya is a key country in Africa. The least we can do, but we must begin with changing the name. Harambee Stars is a very is a very odd name.
Yes.
It means so many bad things. We need to come up with a new name.
Stan, you might be left out if you...
We should change Kenyan names.
I just realized.
Because we are too corrupt, we steal elections. Okay? We should change Kenyan names.
I told you he still hung up.
Stan, your chance.
I think I need some platform to at least...
You're recorded.
Yes, sir.
Yes. One, I must introduce myself first. My name is Stanislaus Alusiola. I am the civil rights defender. Sometimes people call us activists. But the reason why we are in this field is because of a calling. You have heard it from Dr. Ragalo saying that he knows me for many reasons. And I like it. So I am here to promote Operation Linda Ugatuzi.
Yeah.
And our leader is Dr. Frederick, or rather Professor Frederick Ogola.
Ogola, yes.
And as my friend Ragalo has put it, many of the issues that he's raising are actually considered in the amendment of the Constitution 2022 under Operation Linda Ugatuzi. Dr. Ragalo, we are not changing the Constitution.
Okay.
That is something that Kenyans should understand, that we are not changing the Constitution.
Let's take it step by step. You don't want to say anything about football. You don't want to say anything about
If you
football.
have views about football, man.
Yes,
Say something about football. Then we're going to get to that.
About football.
Yes, step by
about
step.
football, I supported France from the onset, but this match between France and Argentina, I actually supported Argentina for reasons.
Interesting. Okay.
It was actually a competition pitted between Mbappe and Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
Looking at their age difference, I actually thought Mbappe has a time, at least another 10 or so years to be at the World Cup. And here is a man who has won everything except the World Cup. So I supported.
And this was his last, I'm told. He's not going to play again.
No, probably,
because by next time he's going to be 39 years.
Yes, I'm told this is his last game.
It might play again.
He might.
There is this Portuguese player who played at 40-something in the World Cup.
Also, there are chances he could be.
There are chances he could
what
play
people
again.
need to understand, you need to know when to quit the stage.
Yes.
That is the most important thing. In everything you do, either politics or business or trade or sports, just know when to quit.
I agree
Don't allow yourself to be beaten down, to overstay. You know, look at people like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yes.
Don't go too much until even you get tired yourself. People are still pushing you on. Come on, stop it and go and do something else. You cannot be always allow other people also to come. Let things change. But
as Daktari is putting it,
yes,
a dancer knows when to leave the stage.
Yeah.
I think Ronaldo has tried his best. He's off the stage. He should understand that. But I think he's somehow greedy, because even after losing at the World Cup, I saw him practicing or practicing at the Real Madrid. So he still wants to show that he's able to do it. But Ronaldo
there's good money there.
Should quit. Okay, he has enough money.
No, I think what Ronaldo should do, he should do the footsteps of the likes of David Beckham.
Yes.
At 35, what you need to do is there is what you call now, go look for money. You see what people like Beckham did? They went to play for the LA Galaxy in the US, not because majorly because of competitive football, because of what is called exhibition football, whereby he would pull crowds and have an NBA play. Look at Samuel Eto'o going to pray in China for money. So there's one thing I would say, Daktari, I think because now we are getting 11 chances, and that is 6 extra chances, I would want to call at CAF to actually bring a fair competition to win a slot in the World Cup, because it is very unfair for Kenya to be put against Senegal,
Egypt,
who have received money from the World Cup to build their youth academy and what have you, Ghana and what have you. So this is my suggestion. We have about 6 federations in Africa. You have the West Africans, you have the CONCACAF in South Africa, you have SECAFA here where we belong, you have the Central African, and you have the North African frontier. Divide this continent into those federations. If it is the West Africa, we won't mind if West Africa are told that you have 4 opportunities because they play a better football than us. Yeah. If North Africa are given 3 opportunities, is all right. Even if we get 2 as SECAFA, we will know at least in the next World Cup, there is going to be 2 SECAFA nations praying for the World Cup. But does it make sense for Kenya to be put in one group with Senegal on the other side, Egypt, and another one on South Africa? Because let me finish. Yeah. One of the reasons why these countries have grown, because I'm telling you, Morocco are taking back home about, that is $2.5 million. That is about almost 3 billion Kenya shillings. Yes. 30% of that money will go to the players. 70% will go back to develop.
Is it really about money?
No. What I'm saying is, if you do well in the World Cup, number one, those countries who have been doing well in the World Cup have benefited from what we call FIFA goal projects. Those nations that have gone to the World Cup has exposed their nations into what you call people who go.
I think allow me. We have to but you have to say this one.
Allow me. I've really talked. Let me just 20 seconds later. Sports and discipline is one and one thing. But look, let me just finish this. Yes. If you are disciplined as a country, you'll excel in sports. Look at the countries who do well in World Cup or even in Africa. They are very disciplined. Look at Morocco. Look at Algeria. Look at Ghana. Their CDC is very strong. Look at South Africa. Look at even our Cape Verde here, who came beating us now. Yeah. They are doing very well. Initially, they were doing very badly. Sports and discipline. And look at the secondary school. I'm going back to the schools. Schools that excel very well in sports, in rugby and football, are very disciplined. Without a doubt, if you cannot excel in discipline, you will not excel in sports.
Is it me who felt like Mbappe was a little bit cold to the president, which was more of an attitude, or I was overthinking? I didn't like that.
There is a problem with the French internal politics. Yes. And the Red Browns have had issues with Macron. Macron.
So he was typically showing that, which I think wasn't in order.
For me, my 30 seconds, one. Kenya should not expect to be handled by kite groves, because when you go to run, you run and you win. Can you put the same resilience? Yeah. So when you are put against Senegal, can you fight our way out?
Exactly.
Can we do what we must do?
Idea.
That is one.
The money.
But number 2, we are in the group village. Why do we feel bad when Senegalese and go to pray in France when we have our own boy playing in Qatar? Come on, just go. If you are picked in India or China, go pray. I mean, we
watch our games though.
No, what I'm saying is not a fan of football.
Hold on. The issue
he doesn't know about FIFA fair play.
We analyze. We don't have this thing in the heart. We are the best people.
He's approaching soccer from a political.
There's nothing wrong. My point is this for the purpose of our viewers. Linda, there's nothing wrong with anybody going anywhere and being in the whole world. I mean, go and pray and be anything. We have our people in the whole world doing something. So there's no need of saying, why should the secondary Nigerians go and pray? Even our own sons are praying there.
They manage their
even our own sons.
Maybe just to oppose what the governance expert Mushemi said. Mushendu.
Yes.
We don't really need to balkanize this continent in terms of football. Yeah. Because even in Europe, England plays against Liechtenstein. And if you look at Liechtenstein, it's like one of our large counties in this country. So iron sharpens iron. Yeah. Therefore, we even need to play against Morocco so that we attain some of the skills those players have actually shown at the World Cup. Yeah. So in matters football, I believe the present cabinet secretary, Dr. Is he a doctor?
Professor
Ababu
Namwamba.
He's a doctor.
He's a doctor, maybe. I believe he has the energy, the mojo and drive to ensure that our sports department in this country grows to levels that other cabinet secretaries have not been able to do. Because he was in Qatar. By being in Qatar, I saw him meet various football administrators at that level. So I understand that in a way he has shared what our problems have been. And just after he met the FIFA president, we saw Kenya being admitted again into international football. And that is one of the issues that Kenya has been suffering from. In terms of discipline, the way Dr. Ragalo has said, football seriously goes with discipline. In discipline, even in terms of administration of football in this country, has always let the sports down. The infights in Kenya Football Association, the management of football league and all that, I believe needs to be straightened in order to see us move to the next level. At continental, not just at a local, regional level, we must show our prominence at continental level for us to even think about the World Cup.
Sure. Couldn't agree more.
And I
close this one.
I think Ragaro put it very well. Yes. If you look at the Harambee Stars that would entertain us in 1998, 95, the Harambee Star of Reinhard Fabish, the KFF of Peter Kenneth, the former Gatanga MP, you would look at how much money was invested in secondary school tournaments, because I was in high school those days. We would drive and hope and pray that you open school so that you can go to those games. Look at those young men, Kina Vincent Kwarura, Kina Francis Onyiso, Kina Tomo Gweno of Mafuko Bombers. Those days, let me tell you, we used to know every single team in the National League who was playing number what, because there was a lot of investment in high school football. And I think that is what the minister should be doing. He should not be going to look for Victor Wanyama, who are now used cannons, to come back to the Harambee Star. He should be to do what he has not done. He should go look for young men, because there are young men there who are doing some nice football. So I agree with you. We have to be disciplined. We have to be very intentional. I saw our president was in the finals yesterday.
That's why he supported Argentina.
Lost, that's why you supported Argentina.
It is because the president so it's political.
That's why I supported Argentina. I couldn't support Kenya Kwanza. Why would I support?
Ragaro, now you're missing the point. You can't go that direction.
Yes.
Interesting. We're going that
I told you we still hang out.
And it's very unfortunate.
You've gone online and you've seen how many times they have told Baba that France lost because he was supporting. You know, it is that.
Harambee used to lose because Baba was in the ground. Then why don't I support Argentina because Kenya Kwanza was supporting France?
Here we are. Let's get to politics. Let's get to politics. 100 days into it. Wacha tuanze na wewe ndio wagonge vizuri alafu
hakuna kitu mzuri anaweza ona.
100 days is a loss. One, the money system they brought is just not working. How many people have made millions today because they have started frying eggs on the street with 500 shillings?
Okay.
And they told us of health insurance service scheme in December. How many people have gotten health service scheme? They told us education will be manageable and sustainable. We can see how they have squandered and they are killing education. How many kids will get to secondary school when they have finished free day secondary school?
Right.
They are making people to pay. Why would you pay? A government is supposed to give you free health, which we were to give. A government is supposed to give you free education, which we were going to give up to university. They have already changed university take-up mark from C+ to B. How many people will pay module 2 at C+? And how many people get to C+? Majority of Kenyans are level. So C+ is usually where you get the majority in Cs. So meaning the very intellectual, the only guys who are going to get JAB, I still remain in JAB where I was picked from JAB. The least are going to get into JAB. The majority are going to lose out in TVET and the college university because of what they have done. So, and those people are the ones called hustlers. So which hustlers are benefiting here? Kindly let them not touch hii pesa ya mama akienda kuzaa. The booklet they are given, it's called what? Linda Mama. Kindly, any project ya mama Margaret.
Yes.
Let them not touch Margaret's project.
Okay.
Because should they touch Linda Mama, which I'm hearing they are touching.
What if they touch and bring something better?
Nothing better. Which better have they brought to university? Which better have they brought to secondary school? Which better have they brought to the health sector? Other than not giving us health insurance that they say.
Are you not hitting them so hard? It's only say 100.
So which better? And electricity is going up, and things are going to go up. Which better?
You understand the matrix of getting things in order, even at your own level. There's instances where
so everything was not in order when they were taking the government. So nothing was working.
At least so they say.
Vehicles people were not able to fuel.
And
people were not able to go to school. The money that they have been collecting because of stopping many of the Uhuru projects or Uhuru management skills that were happening, where have they taken the money?
Okay, hold it right there. Dr. Masanga says, greetings to the gentleman in studio from London. I support Argentina all the way. I don't know.
Thank you, Masanga. Thank you, Masanga. We cannot support Kenya Kwanza.
Me and
Matsanga
cannot be in the same WhatsApp.
Never.
Never.
You had that. Because he's Azimio. Well, he's
no. I love engaging Matsanga. Because it's always heated up, but it's always on a decorum level. Yes. So we may disagree on so many things, but we disagree respectively. Now, I don't expect Ragaro and his cahoots to say anything different from what he has said, because one of the problems they have is that they are still hung up with their laws. They have not accepted. And if they have not accepted, they cannot move on. Now, we do not expect the Honorable William Ruto to come and perform magic. But I'll tell you, one of the things that has destroyed this continent and has destroyed so many economies, and I've said it here even before Ruto came in, it is the subsidy that has been given to the economies over Africa. They get subsidies and people become comfortable. They stay on their comfort zone. If you give them a breather and they buy petrol at 120, they become comfortable. And I will tell you, there is no economy anywhere. You will hear they have prepared a budget and they have set aside money for subsidy. So every time you hear there is one, it is money being deducted from a proposed project somewhere. And mostly this money is taken away from what you call the development vote to be able to meet with the emergencies. And I think that majorly where we disconnect with Ragaro, that one of the problem why they feel like the economy is, like for instance, they are shouting that we have increased high school fees.
Yeah.
Are you aware that there's nothing that has been increased? It's only that a subsidy was provided when Corona came. It is only that the payment is reverting back to what it used to be because we are now out of the coronavirus and we must start thinking of reducing the cost. Because if you look at before Corona, you'll find that the national schools fee was about 53,000. Probably reduced up to 43 or 44,000. Now we are back to the actual cost of paying school fees. But Ragaro and his friends will have it shout in the newspapers that fees has been increased. I will ask you, Look at, and Dr. Bai will tell me because he comes from an agricultural county that does a lot of agriculture. You remember the agricultural corporations that were doing good. My parents, that's my grandfather and mother, during their time, they will get a lot of help from the Agriculture Finance Corporation. They will get a lot of help from the Ministry of Agriculture with what you call extension officers. Kenya Agricultural Research Institute was doing very well. Kevavapi was doing well. Kefri was doing well. Government parastatal was streaming the agricultural corporation. Why were they able to do that then? Because of two things. One, they invested seriously. We invested as a nation seriously on technical training. And that is where TVET comes in. Today, when we say that we want to invest a lot of money on technical training, they want to talk about degrees and they are okay. In this country, according to the Kenya Bureau of Standards, we don't have more than 1.5 million people with degrees. And they say 450,000 of those degrees are fake. They are either procured illegally or they are gotten through the back door. So you have like 1,050,000 people with degrees in a country of 50 million people. And today, Dr. Bai will tell here, or even Lagaro, let them go back to the village and try to look for someone to come and do your tiles, someone to come and do your prabbing. We don't have these people in the village because we moved away from that critical level of training people on technical knowledge. And that is where the key is into unlocking the economy of this country. Today, a welder in my village is doing what he calls state-of-the-art gates, and he will probably come and sell them at 200 or 250,000 to a person who is building in Karen. So if we do not invest on technical education, we may not be able to move this economy to where we want it to be. But now, these people, they want us to have what is called the status quo remain. They don't want us to expand. And I mean, I told you here, even before Ruto was sworn in, that the only way we will get out of debt that we are in, we will have to borrow more, we will have to forgo these subsidies so that we can be able. Look at where the administration, Lagaro, is praising REFTAS. They have REFTAS in a place where we have to go with what the World Bank is asking us to do, the IMF is asking us to do, the Africa Development is asking us to do, that if we have to give you money, you have to restructure government. Let me ask you, Rinda, where did the income that national universities used to go? Yeah. You have had more universities say they are bankrupt. Egerton, they are saying they are bankrupt. These are institutions of research that would invest and they would do courses.
Let's take it away from you. And we agree, all these things perhaps are a problem in the country that need to be fixed. But then again, before we even get into depth of all that, we are speaking of the 100 days and the promises that were there. And you have had online someone asking, just where is the Kenya Kwanza manifesto? Because they need to be given that. They need to understand that Kenyans are suffering. And Ragalo, while he could be on the other side, could be speaking for very many Kenyans, you know. And therefore, these things we really need to address, because enough said, we really do not want to see governments always coming in to say, you know, to lie to us that in 100 days, this is what we're going to do. And then when we get into it, they start coming up with, you know, with excuses. And truth be told is that next year, then Kenyans are not going to listen to this story of, oh, this is where we come from, this is not what we've done, this is, and all that. We are tired of that. So stand before Dr. comes in. What do you make of the 100 days?
I think political promises are different from the delivery on the ground. The president today, the current president, promised a lot during the campaign period. But you say it's 100 days now. I think nothing has happened. I'm giving you an honest opinion. Nothing has happened, but we are not going to blame him, because politicians around the world will always promise heaven and deliver nothing less of hell. The problem we are experiencing in this country is dishonesty. leaders across the strata, from the president himself, to the governor, to senators, women reps, MPs, as well as MCAs, they always promise what they cannot deliver. Therefore, as we talk here, let us not take political positions. Let us look at the facts. What are Kenyans looking for? What do Kenyans need? At the end of the day, if the priorities of the commoner, I refer to myself as a commoner, if the priority needs of the commoner are addressed, this country is going to move forward. In terms of economics, I'm not an economics expert. I've had Mushendo speak so much about economics, but I would say that the Hustler Fund has had issues in itself. Who is administering the Hustler Fund? Is it the government? Is it the private? Is it a private company? And if it's a private company, who owns the private company? The other questions that we're asking about the Hustler Fund: who determines what and how much one should receive? How do they know the kind of business you're doing for you to get between 500, 3,000 or 10,000 shillings? They deduct money from you. One, they're saying that the money is your savings. They are saving onto which account? They say that they are also giving you a pension fund. They are saving the pension on which account? And in case your money gets lost, who are you going to ask? Those are some of the issues that we are looking at as Operation Linda Ugatuzi, that we must streamline this country. Otherwise, we will be, at the end of the day, the blame is going to be with the president. He is busy doing other things, looking for funds to ensure that things are working in this country. But there are other people who are looking at loopholes. How can we get money? The former president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, one day said that this country is losing 2 billion shillings a day. What has been done by the Kenya Kwanza government in 100 days to ensure that we are not losing the 2 billion shillings a day? If you look at the mathematics, simple mathematics, 2 billion times 100 days comes to how much, Bwana Mshendo?
200 billion.
200 billion is money enough to pay for the national government constituency development fund at once. But nobody is telling us about that. If that window for 2 billion shillings has been closed, where is the money going to? So those are some of the issues that I feel the current regime should be in a position to address and look at the legal issues seriously. As we are speaking, the opposition, so to say, and the government are talking about constitutional amendment. The president is talking about Kenya Kwanza MPs going to parliament to enact some kind of amendment to give the official opposition seat to Raila Odinga. The Raila Odinga brigade, that was for the BBI. And in the BBI, they proposed that an office of the official opposition leader must be in the constitution. But because it is being led by Kenya Kwanza, now they are saying no. So it is a titanic political duel being manifested by leaders on the different side of the game. What we are saying as the civil society and Operation Linda Ugatuzi, led by Professor Fred Ogola, we are saying that enough is enough. The political elite do not have a prime mandate to effect constitutional amendments in this country.
But Dr. Fred was here the other day and says that you are open to speak to them because then you are rightfully doing it as people, and therefore if the president would approach you with a proposal of also getting an opposition office that would call for a referendum and other adjustments that they would want made in the constitution, then you're open to work with him.
Yes.
Why are you open to work with a government you think has performed dismally so far?
We are not open to the government alone because the constitutional amendment process, as I have said,
yes,
is not just for the political elite. The constitutional amendment is for the people of Kenya. And therefore, you saw what happened last time with the BBI. The Supreme Court of this country squashed the BBI process because of some illegalities. In fact, they said that the executive lacks the locus standi to effect the Building Bridges initiative. The president does not have space. That is the same thing I think the president is doing today. Okay. Though he's taking a different dimension by taking the constitutional amendment to parliament. But for us, Operation Linda Ugatuzi, we are the commoners, the common people who are not on any side of the political divide. And we are actually imploring, asking all Kenyans across the board, whether in government, out of government, in civil society, out of civil society, everyone who feels like the proposals we are making make sense in order to make this country move forward, please join the process. Whether it is President, and I thank the President.
We have to take it from you and we'll come back to you.
Just a minute, let me finish.
Make it less.
I thank the President because he has seen that the constitution needs to be amended.
Fair enough.
I also thank the official opposition leader, so it's said, that he has seen the process the constitution needs to be amended, and therefore they need to join us.
Okay.
Yes.
So Daktari says, Linda, I tell you, my sister, where did the government get the money it is lending people? Where are the deductions being kept? Which account? This is the biggest gamble of our lives as Kenyans. The biggest mistake is we do the same mistakes all the time.
Yes.
Dr. Mbai.
Thank you so much. From where I sit, purely from a governance perspective, when we talk about 100 days, we want to look at vis-a-vis what you have brought up there, the manifesto and all that, do campaigns. What has been achieved practically and realistically?
Because we also need to appreciate
the same day the Court of Appeal judges were sworn in. The same day, or the following day, the issue of Port of Mombasa was returned to Mombasa, the port operations. Then we saw the financial independence of IG. Very closely later, there was the issue of specific roles for the deputy president and the deputy, the super CS. Immediately after, we saw the launch of the Education Working Party to look at the CBC and issues. Those are specific issues I'm talking about. Recently the launch, the setting up of administration, the CSS and the PSS. We saw the issues of the intention to transfer from the production issue of Kazi Mtaani to something sustainable. The launch of the tree program, the issue of the tree program. Now, 2/3 was a promise. What has the president done is to initiate the process. He said, now, this is what, as a president, I want to see the conversation going on. And he has done 4 things, very important. One, the president is not hiding to say, go 3 years, look for views. He said, I'm the president, I'm in charge. Can you guys discuss these issues with a view of seeing how they'll be entrenched? One, the issue of CDF, the issue of Senator Oversight Fund, the GAF, and then the issue, according to him, he has been saying that I would wish to see ministers going to answer questions so that there's no this gap between the people and the executive. And he made proposals direct. He said, yes, I'm in charge. Yes, it's
one thing to say. It's one thing to say, it's another.
I'm just saying, we are talking about what has the Ruto administration done. So when we are gauging parameters, we look at 1, achievements done. I've listed about 20, which have been done. Number 2, the intention and also effort and the passion and the willingness to do all those kind of things. So what are we saying? If you look at all those issues, steps done, the vision and all that, we are saying that the Ruto administration in 100 days, because it's under, it's under 100 days because it's coming on Friday. It's only going to do 100 days. We have seen a massive intention and results of the promises made. So when you go to the details of what happened, the issue of the constitution, come on, it's very simple. Let Kenyans decide. Let Kenyans discuss. Yes. Let Ugatuzi come on board. Let them go to the church leaders. Let them go to the other people. What the president said is that, look, I feel we need to change because of ABCD. And by the way, for record, the issue of official opposition is not for Laila Amolo Odinga. Let us remove. We are not making laws to suit an individual. The problem with politicians and many of them, they think in mind with the next election, the next individual. Let's look about the next generation. When you talk about all these kind of things, Linda, in 100 days, I can tell you very comfortably, we can give a 8 out of 10 for what the Ruto administration has achieved so far. And that's what we are saying. Let everybody who wants to criticize do it. It is open. Come on, it's very much open. Do it or criticize. Let me repeat again, the official opposition should be able to criticize and collect the government, the media, the church, the civil society, everybody. But the government and the Ruto administration must keep on their path.
96 days. It's actually 96.
It is actually, I said on Friday it's going to be 100 days. So that is what, for me.
Before you come in, Daktari.
I give it 8 of 10 for achievements, for effort. 20 solid promises done.
In 30 seconds.
20.
Let's allow Moshin to say this in 30 seconds. 80 out of 100?
8 of 20.
Yes.
80% rather.
I'll give 80%.
You give 80%.
80%. And I've told you before that.
30 seconds, yes.
Yes, I've told you before that every government that is elected in Kenya is given 60 months to be able to fulfill. We are only 3 months. We have not done 57 months. I think my brothers are jumping before the gun. Let's give them an opportunity. When Uhuru Kenyatta was elected in 2013, we only started seeing results about a year later. No. Hold your horses.
Yes.
You know, let's be realistic. Let us separate the political shenanigan from the facts that are there.
And when you are promising,
when you are outside, listen, when you are outside looking in, it is easier to say you will do this and this. But when you get in and fight the kind of mess that has been put, these are the same guys in the administration that they spent 530 billion in 1 week just to make sure that there is nothing in the coffers to be filed.
It was not ODM.
No,
Jubilee administration.
It was you are all in government, Ragaro. You all no. Me, I've always been in Hustler Nation.
But Hustler Nation was part of government.
No, we were just
most of these members of parliament were
in quotes. We were in government.
Linda, in 100 days, they were to reduce unga from 200 to 70.
Okay.
In 100 days, they were to reduce fuel from 160 to 80. Okay. In 100 days, they were to increase salary for police by 50%. In 100 days, they were to give 100 million hustler fund was promised. In 100 days, squatters in Trans Nzoia are still waiting for the 1 million acre land. In 100 days, they were to cap prices of milk at 40 shillings. In 100 days, they were to scrap CBC warudishe 844. Those are things I had. So I'm saying, let me just say, let's say things they said.
Well, they said they're going to make adjustments.
Yes. So let's just be honest. In 100 days, internet was to be free. Okay. In 100 days, yes. In 100 days, we were supposed to have free.
Have your chance to respond.
They were supposed to have free Safaricom calls.
Yes.
And bundles. I can't forget. I'm right. I've written these things down.
No.
In 100 days,
we want you to quote.
They were to
exactly
give,
where because
social media. Yes, reading from some social media.
No, Ragaro, let me tell you, Rinda, and I will tell him. He cannot lead his minigun.
Let me say,
let him tell me. Listen. Our producer has Yes, our producers has done us proud.
Yes.
He is putting the manifesto right here.
Exactly.
Let Ragaro tell you which part of manifesto he is reading.
I have read.
Otherwise,
let me
you cannot allow him to read his nonsense.
Let me tell them the achievement.
Yes.
The achievement. Yes. In 100 days, they wanted to bring maize that has been engineered. That is the achievement. In 100 days, they are bringing rice. Where they are producing rice. That is the achievement. In 100 days, they are wanafukuza kina Cherera in 100 days, whereas in 2007 we had post-election violence. We never formed a committee to remove the IBC in 2007. We never formed a committee to remove IBC in 2013 election, whereas we had elections that were gaffed. We had bad election in 2017. We never formed a committee to remove IBC. But right now, they have made a committee to remove IBC. Has someone died? No. Did we have post-election? No. Tuliangaliana na macho mbaya? No. Tulikubali ndio. IBC wamekosea wapi? Walikosana 2007. Walikosana. You remember
The
Kina
seat
Kihara
spacing
Mutu.
is-
So now in 100 days, they are achieving that. So in 100 days, what is the achievement?
Let him give the score. I mean,
It's
Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
over 10.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. It is my time. I was.
No.
Listen. When you allow.
let's have the score. Yeah, let's
allow
have the
Stan and
score.
then respond.
Let me tell you. But please, when you ask someone to give a scorecard, when you allow someone to give a scorecard, you did not invite him to come and lament on things that we don't even know.
He's Kenyan and he's
No, let him lead.
Okay, at least on the campaign trail, some of these things were made.
No.
You have to agree.
Let me ask you.
Internet was not.
Let me ask you. If a government
Let me
is
take
seeking
that.
office,
Yeah.
it seeks office through a manifesto.
Okay.
It is right in front of us. I want him to
You
quote
see,
the
you
manifesto.
do not want to go that
Excuse me.
direction because the same manifesto will be used.
As it was-
And in the event you have not
As
received-
itusomea social media
I think
The road-
Mushendu, we must respond to issues without emotions, because the reason why Kenyans feel like they have to score, the scorecard is less than 80%, is because of some of the things that are promised outside the manifesto, and Kenyans tend, because they don't have time to read the manifesto, it doesn't reach them. They believe the word of mouth that comes from the leader. And some of the things that Dr. Ragalo has said were actually promised. Therefore, the promissory note given to Kenyans has not effectively been delivered. So if you ask me about the percentage, I will give them 5 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving them 5 out of 10 is because I want them to work hard. You cannot give a student 8 over 10 in the first 3 days of school. So these guys, because they have 60 months, 60, yes, I think 5 years, 60 months, they are only 3 days into school, 3 months into school. I will give them 5% because I believe they have room to improve. Yes, and if they improve, Kenyans will feel the benefit of their governance. Yes.
All right, fair enough. Gentlemen, allow us to take a short break and then we come back to respond to the list of Ragalo, and while they might not be incorporated in the manifesto, or, we might say they are roadside declarations at some point in time on the campaign trails, some of these things were mentioned. And there's that one Kenyan who really knows that.
And they became, some of those things mentioned became very prominent in the decision-making process.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so allow us to take a short break and then we come back to you, Daktari.
Money from South.
Yeah. No.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates, Baraza la Siasa,
hiyo kitu azungumzie, aangalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates, Baraza la Siasa,
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, aangalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
informative health discussions, business, farming, Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
Waimbaji.
Civil rights defender
Yes.
Stan Alusiola is with us. Is with us this morning, and we also have Dr. Peter Mrai, who's next to him, a governance expert, as well as governance expert Peter Moshendu, and we also have Eric Ragalo, who's a political analyst. And so, Dr. Ari, we come to you, and you definitely would not expect for the Azimio side to be in support of what it is that the government has done so far. But as well, a majority of Kenyans who really do not perhaps have a side, if you would want to say it, or are not politically aligned. And equally those ones that sit, as supporters of the Kenya Kwanza government, who sort of feel like they're a little bit disappointed by what it is that the government has achieved so far. And if they are to celebrate the gains that have been made, they perhaps would have some essence of worry in terms of where this government is going to take the people of Kenya. And I know you would say it is promising, but just what can you give them as an affirmation that indeed the future is bright?
That's important. That's important, Linda. What I would say, you look at how somebody will behave in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from the foundation set. You can
Yes,
tell.
you can tell.
Every step, every word. You can see whether that is somebody with the will, with the vision, with the passion, and the know-how on how to run a government. That's how we look at it. And so, right away from all the elected leaders from MCA to governor, you can be able to tell, okay, this person knows what they're doing. So, what I would call systems and structures. Once that is set, once you see a president willing to lay some ground, that's what we are talking about. I mean, it's only 100 days, right? To lay the ground for the next 4.5 years. That is what we look at in a very big way. Now, I will ask you a question. It took the president like 4 years, this impasse about the Court of Appeal judges. Look, but one day, the president comes and says, I don't see the reason why they are not sewn in, and he does it. Now, that is not easy. That is thinking. Everybody thought, look here, let's separate between the rhetoric or all the kind of things done pre the election time. This is governance. That's why you say, okay, look, as a president now, I cannot just walk in and say I've abolished CBC. Wait a minute, can I put a team?
For the very same reason, does it not worry you that the other president raised some concern about these judges, and then this president comes in and without looking into those concerns perhaps decides that, let's have them. And today, one of them is heading this tribunal that speaks of, rooting out the IEBC. What does it make you?
Yes. That's a good one. Let's talk about the rule of the law because of tomorrow. We are not here forever. We'll come serve this government and other people will come and then we will exit the stage. What happened is this. The president was asked by the Judicial Service Commission, give us the evidence. He never. Even today. That is what happened. If you feel as a president, you can't swear in people because they have integrity issues. What you should do is to kindly share with the Judicial Service Commission so they can be able to investigate. I mean, they couldn't. You're talking about this one judge. Look at Professor Joel Gogi, one of the best brains actually in the whole Africa. Then, look at the mess you tried to do to their career. Now, in short, to answer your question, he was asked to bring the evidence, he didn't. So, look at this kind of decisions. The next day, he say, IG, you need to operate with a pen, administrative, because not everything needs laws and all that. With a stroke of a pen, I mean, IG got their money. Look at the port of Mombasa. Look at the kind of vision and understanding. Today, Kenya has safeguarded its position. as not only a regional, an African, but also a world leader in many things. Look at the economics. Look at the war, the peace in the Horn of Africa. Look at even how the president has been able to because it's, the president is diplomat number one. Look at the way he's been able to move around and try to, the whole issue, to try to entice, try to tell people, look here, Kenya can do business with you. That is what we are looking at the future. And I want to say this for record. One of the bad drama we had the last regime is where the president and the deputy were not seen eye to eye. That was a big cost to the economy of this country. So what is a common Kenyan saying today? They are saying, look, as we want that feeling that the government is willing to sort our problems, right? That at least we can see some tangible things happening, right? That number two, the president and the deputy are going to work together. Look at what happened to South Sudan. The moment the president, they were not, one of them went to the bush. That is what we were hoping it will never happen again in Kenya. So can we have order and discipline? The issue of galvanizing support and making sure everybody lands together. The issue of working with all the elected leaders in Kenya to say, look here, you don't have to beg. No, it's your right as a governor. Elected on Azimio.
Hold it, let me take it from you to Moshendo. Moshendo, one of the reasons, or was it Moshendo? Yes, one of the reasons, or one of the amendment proposals that his team is proposing is to, not it's for for it to be incorporated in the constitution that the deputies, that is the deputy president, should not run immediately after the reign of their current leader, simply because most of the times they will spend time focusing on campaigning for themselves, and therefore they say maybe after the 2 terms, if at all they are successful enough to go for 2 terms, then they take a break or they do something else, then they're able to come back later on, because literally this is perhaps what we saw. Maybe that's the reason why the concerns he's raising were there, that we really could not see the president and his deputy working eye to eye. Would that be a proper proposal in terms of addressing this matter?
I think I would tell my friend the same way I told Ogora, my friend, seated right next to here. Their attempt to amend the constitution is a flop from the word go.
What of that one of the president?
I think it is neither here nor there.
Even the president's proposal.
It is neither here nor there, because what they are saying is that we also need to amend the Bill of Rights, because political yes, because the political liberty is one of them. It does not make sense, and it will not be democratic to propose that if I serve as a vice president or a deputy president, I should stay out of politics for 5 years. That is one of the way of curtailing the freedom of those in those offices. And on the flip side, I've had Rogaro here say about the American system. It is just a proposal that the Democrats did, that when the current president, Joe Biden, served for 8 years as the vice president, decided to take a break, but it is not the constitutional, because you see the likes of Al Gore went ahead to succeed President Bill Clinton, although they failed and he was defeated by Bush. But the point here is that there is a reason why Kenya is a democratic nation. There is a reason why that the possession of powers in this country are filled through a democratic competitive process. And telling someone to stay out of 5 years in politics, it is actually going against the very essence of having democracy in this country. Let everybody be allowed to vie when he feels like it. And Kenyans on that fateful day will make a decision on who becomes the president. So I think for me, one of the reason I think that my friends, and I told Gora this, that one, even if you go through what is called the popular initiative to amend a constitution, at some point you correct your 1 million signatures, you you present your document that you have proposed to come and change the constitution to IEBC. The first thing that document is done, it is subjected to county assemblies, which is the representation of people's democracy, because people sitting in those county assemblies are elected by the people. And this is a political process, whether you go parliamentary or you go on a popular initiative. The idea is that it will end up through a political arena. And this means they have to get the blessings both from the opposition and from government. Because if government decides to oppose their amendment, they have caucuses in each and every assembly in this republic. If opposition decides to oppose them, they have caucuses where their members are leading those assemblies. So therefore, if you do not have what is called political goodwill from the word go, then that process is a fail from the word go. And I had, you remember, we were seated here and I told Daktari, if you have come here and castigated the political class and you want to do a constitutional amendment through popular initiative, remember, the first door you will knock is the doors of the 47 county assemblies. And if you are not in good terms with the politicians of the day, you can be sure that that particular amendment is not going to go anywhere. So I think for me, they may have ideas that we may agree are good. The others that we may have a contentious approach on it. But point blank is, they have to look for what is called political goodwill, because getting signatures is not enough. You have to convince the 47 county assemblies. It has to come to the National Assembly. There is quite a tedious process. And I saw them, this is not a process where civil societies will do it alone. Look at how we amended the 2010 Constitution. It was the fulfillment of civil society and politicians of the days coming together through things like Ufagamano Initiative, the Ash Palgai Red Commission, the soup came, and all those things. It was a multi-sectoral approach in amending the Constitution.
Let's also agree that it has to begin somewhere.
Yes.
And maybe that's the reason why
what we need to agree is that
yes.
We need to amend the Constitution.
Yes.
Yes.
What we should
that
agree
common
as
agreement.
Kenyans, every document, and that's why even in the books we go to school and study, we have revised editions. We have even the current revised edition. We're going to revise it because every time things change. We have diseases that was there as a medic, and we have diseases that went obsolete. We have diseases that may never come back. So we have to change the books. Okay?
Yeah.
There are new disease came the other day, corona. We have to change the books and add corona into the textbooks. The Constitution we had in 2010, and today we are 22 years old of it now. We have seen the gaps in it. We need to change it. What we need to say, and to be honest with one another, do we need World Development Fund? Do we need human services of medics to be taken care at the national level, which we call health service scheme to go back? Do we need some of these changes? Do we need rotational presidency? I mean, there are countries that have it. Do we stop this competitiveness that is bringing animosity and pain to Kenyans all the time? Are we going to have a Kenya together in 100 years when you look at it? Will it be holding? So what can we heal Kenya that will have Kenya holding in 100 years? The problem that bedeviled Kenya, some of them bedeviled Ethiopia. And that's why we have Eritrea and Djibouti from Ethiopia. You know, some of these things, we just have to be honest with one another. And when we become honest with one another, we will look at things as Kenya. And we'll change some of the facts that makes Kenya feel not part of Kenya. Okay? And it's time, a constitution will never be changed once. We'll change it until it gets overchanged. But as time go by, another group of Kenyans who come 40 years down the line, they will change it to suit their time. Maybe they will not be using phones as we use them. Maybe these TVs that are here will be different. They'll have TV unakunja kwa karatasi. Things go changing. So a constitution of Leighton Constitution of 1958 is not the constitution we have today. So we have to go as we change by time. And it is good that we have this sensible talk right now. There's no one saying, hii ni Azimio, hii ni ya Kenya Kwanza. But everyone is deciding we really need to change the constitution. Again, remember, the problem again comes here, and I want to tell the guys of Kenya Kwanza, because I live in Mount Kenya region. That's where my life is. They think that the official opposition is going to be Raila's. By the time this constitution is going to be changed, it will be 2-3 years down the line, by the time it even goes for a referendum. So Raila is waiting to be a leader of opposition in 3-4 years. Can't they see it's not Raila's
And that is the
document?
case. And that is the case.
The mentality of some of people down there, and Mushendo will be honest and tell the truth, they think, Ruto arethera, I'm saying a bit in Kikuyu, Ruto arethera Raila kiti, Ruto anatafutia Raila kiti. No. this thing will go 4 years down the line. So Raila will be waiting to be leader of opposition 4 years down the line. By the time a constitution reaches to the referendum, surely it takes around 3 years. So mentality they have is that this thing is going to happen 1 to 2 weeks. Then Raila the third week will be leader of opposition. No. They should remember this is going to be Kenya continuity.
Okay, briefly,
just a bit of thing here. Let's clearly understand. The intention of the president, according to his memorandum, he's trying to say, what can we do without the referendum? Now, let's agree. Let's also understand these kind of things.
But let's also acknowledge what is incorporated in the Constitution.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
What can we do for us? Yes.
That's the question I'm asking. So what we should do, what is it, should we agree all of us to do, both as me and everybody else, and the civil society and church? What can we do? And that was the issue about BBI. Because we were saying there are some things that can be done without necessarily going to the referendum.
But there are things that
and there are some things. Yes, so we need to say these ones can be done. Yes, we agree. And then we come and say what others must we do so that now slowly we build into a document. About the formula, the distinction was what the Supreme Court said, if I get it right. The president cannot initiate, but this time round is different. The president, as a president, has sent it to Parliament for discussion.
Hold
on.
Who is initiating still?
No. Wait a minute. What the president? Look, for example, let me give an example of 2/3. It was the last time the Constitution said it must be 2/3. Now, as the head of the government, he has a responsibility to figure out how it can be done. Now, listen, it's not the president. Listen, and if today Parliament decides that all those 4 issues are under the carpet, it's done. The president has done his part.
What happened with the BBI? What if I mean, and we all know that, intentionally, the president does not expect that Parliament will fold this one. And he also enjoys majority in Parliament.
Very well. That's what I'm saying. The BBI case, and I always say this, please, it's completely different. BBI was a case whereby there were sweeteners added, like a pot of food, where there is, the legs of there's a fish head, there is the legs of goat, there is a managu, there is everything. So it was something mixed up. So
can we equate the declarations of the Kenya Kwanza team as sweeteners? Those ones that he was trying to mention. Yeah. Can we equate them as what were sweeteners for what was not going to come after all?
There's one thing from where I sit, and it's important to ask. All the issues, a majority of them, as indicated, there is the willingness. A lot of them have been done, and there is need to do more. That is what we want to measure. But then when it comes to the constitution changing, we are saying, let us agree, and on that one I think we are all agreeable here. What is it that can be done without? Then we separate. We have a conversation, right? Bring together everybody. What is it that indeed we need? Not because of someone in 2027, because of this country going forward for another 10 years. We agree. Look, the 2010 Constitution, very clear. Originally, there was the issue of the official position. It was there. There was the issue of the deputy leader of opposition and all those, the prime minister. But people killed it so that Laira does not become the prime minister. Look at where we are now. Exactly. Then you come back now running, there will be BBI to bring back. So what are we saying here? Let us separate issues. Whatever the president has proposed, let it go through, and then let all the other people come through. We all agree. In the next 20 years, how do we want Kenya to look like? Then we now start this other process. What we are saying, we cannot begin like now saying we want a referendum today. But there are some things we can do in the meantime. So in other words, breaking down the BBI, because some of them were good, right? But not everything was supposed to go to the referendum. That's what.
But if we're going to have a referendum, what is the point of saying that now this one is supposed to go through an amendment at the level of Parliament? Why not have them incorporated in one and speak a referendum?
Because
and whatever the president is proposing, and before we come to you, let's just allow Moshen to say something small. Whatever it is that the president is proposing, and this is a proposal that has been there, perhaps hasn't started with the president, but because now this is the president we're talking about, then definitely it has to have some essence of oomph. Don't you think that this one of incorporation of a serious opposition office would require for us to go for a referendum?
I think I just wanted to add to what Dr. has said. The court said that the president cannot initiate a popular initiative. Yes. It's not the parliamentary. which he is well within his rights to do. So the president has not gone, my friend's way, to correct signatures. He has sent his proposal to parliament, because by law that is what he is supposed to do. Popular initiative ought to be a mwananchi-driven agenda. That is, it's given in case you do not get someone to sponsor a bill in parliament, a member of parliament.
Is that really?
No, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
Yes,
let me tell you.
Proceed.
As a mwananchi, if I wanted to amend the constitution, I can go the popular initiative, I can go the parliamentary way, because I can send a memorandum to parliament just the same way the president has sent a memorandum to parliament, or I can choose to go to the people to correct the million signatures, which my brothers are doing. Now, I think for me is what the president is proposing in terms of creating the office of opposition in parliament. I think that would still come back to referendum, because the issues of governance are part of the protected clauses in the constitution. So whichever proposal he takes to parliament, even if parliament ratifies the proposals by the president, they will still have to come back to the people to a referendum for people to approve it. If it is about changing the system of government, because when you say we want to create an opposition of the official opposition leader, it means we have to alter the leadership of parliament as we know it now. And that means that particular section is a protected section of the constitution, requiring me, Ragaro, and other Wanjikos to say whether we agree with the president or we do not agree. So either way, whether that amendment comes, the proposal comes from the president through parliament, and it is touching on things like Bill of Rights and other things, they have to go back to the people for people to approve. And that is what Ragaro has said. Let us get this clear in our mind. We are not creating an office for the Honorable Raila Odinga. In fact, I'm telling you, that office, if it is created of the official opposition leader, I want to believe, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I think it will take effect with the next election.
Exactly.
It will not take effect with this election. So people must get it out of their mind that we are trying to create, or there is an office being created for the Honorable Raila Odinga. And I want to say, the official opposition office, I have always, you know, Rinda, that for a fact, I have always supported that, because I believe if you got 6-point-something million, you carry the aspirations of those Kenyans, and you should not be sent somewhere in the village to stay there when 6-point-something people put all their aspirations on your head and on your shoulders. You must be given an opportunity. And I've always said, we have to agree. If you are number 2 when you become the official opposition leader, probably you will go to parliament and your deputy running mate goes to Senate, so that we can avail you an opportunity to represent the people who chose you and the people who went to the ballot and thought that you would make. Now, I think for me, that is very much important. I remember the days of the likes of Bill Kero, being shadow minister for finance those days, and I would really enjoy watching yes, I would really enjoy those press conferences in parliament when they are putting the exchequer, they are called the chancellor of exchequer, who we now say is a minister of treasury and what have you, putting them on check when they present the budget in parliament. You would enjoy these guys questioning the budget from an economic perspective. And I think for me, that is one of the major losses we made with the Constitution 2010.
That was a bad thing.
That was a bad thing in 2010, that we did not enshrine a proper opposition office, and that is why Ragaro and his ODM leader Raila Odinga had to do a handshake to come to government, because it is the only way they could find relevancy. But imagine we had a free-fledged official opposition. I want to believe that the 2022 politics will not have turned
after Ragalo agreeing to what you said, then you
you have to pay.
have to close, because we only have like 5 minutes to step out of
Yes.
And so as you top up to that, and as well perhaps send them with a message, because after all, it's the government of the day, and that we have to respect. And we also have to register some of the disappointments that we have, but as well ask them, to take a certain direction if at all we feel like this would really be, the way to go.
Yeah. Jose Mario Bergoglio is the Bishop of Rome, and he also happens to be the Pope Francis. And he has said that the Catholic Church needs to look at its doctrine. Therefore, he realizes that the world has changed since the Catholic Church was set in place. And therefore, we can actually take the same scenario and put it where we are today, that the Constitution is 12 years old. And the committee of experts, led by Nzamba Kitonga by then, said that it's 80% good, 20% rotten. We are looking at the 20%. And my friend here, I keep forgetting his name. Mushendu is very critical. He's actually criticizing us in a very negative way, saying that we are actually flopping from the onset. But I like it the way you have put it, because we have to start from a point.
Sure.
And he doesn't have to agree with everything we are saying. If he has proposals that can make this thing move forward, we are free to work with him. If he thinks that that particular clause we are talking about, the deputy president not being in a position to run after serving for 10 years, how else can we ensure that the deputy president does not antagonize the president during the second term into office?
As we sum it up.
Yes, those are the things that we are looking at. So we cannot flout the whole process because he feels like maybe we are not starting on the right slate. But we need people like him. We need Dr. Mbai. We need Dr. Ragalo. We need the president. We need Raila Odinga. We need James Orengo. We need everybody, because this is a people-driven process that is geared towards benefiting the common mwananchi. So let us know.
90 is their scorecard. 80 is your scorecard.
Yes,
20 is his.
Good.
How do we strike a balance as we sum
This,
it down?
he said very well.
Yeah.
Maybe the language is, I don't know why this, today the panel has they are making sweeping statements. What I would want to suggest, kindly, before you go very far, Dr. Ekuru Okot had a very good document, if you remember,
Punguza Mizigo.
But he put so ridiculous proposals, so everybody got scared. Look, 7 years presidency without a lot of consultation, and he puts in a document and circulates. You know. So what I would say, when you talk about a DP, what happens in America? There is always a president and the deputy. Why can't we, address instead of killing there to say the deputy cannot vie? Why can't you be mature enough?
I think the proposal is that they can vie, but not.
No, I mean, how do you kill somebody's career for what? What I'm sure it's
Like for instance,
yeah, no. Wait. No. These are proposals. You see the problem. He said he wants. Like in the beginning of the show, he said he supports. So you should hold on. We also give input. The other thing, when talk about rotation presidency, Linda, what are we trying to do? Let's not. Because of problems that we have here in Kenya, we now try to put constitution to switch that. Why can't we have a system that can work? So my take would be, of course, it's not easy for someone to come up and say you have an initiative like this. This is a good thing, but please let everybody involved. Please avoid ridiculous and weird proposals because they are going to scare away everybody else.
It's a conversation. As we 30 seconds. We start with you. 30 seconds.
The problem with Kenya, Linda, and this is the problem that Kenya has been put to Kenya, especially young Kenyans who came later of our age, who have been taught by politicians who are parallel to what was going ahead then. They came to teach Kenyans who are now electorate today the Raila phobia issue. So anything that is done in Kenya, as long as Raila is there, it becomes a wrong.
We are past that.
No. We are not. Okay, I'm just being honest with what has been happening.
That is the past. That is the past.
When we had Mbai, and Mbai was in the committee of devolution, anything Mbai was saying, it was said it was Raila's. And Mbai left the world as such. And you remember what happened then after that. We mutilated the constitution that was being brought. We brought something called Wakianga, whatever report, which went down. Right now, people have already starting to talk about, that seat is being made for Raila. And it's good, my friend has said. There's no you can change a constitution and start working immediately. It starts with the next government. Even 2010 didn't work immediately. It started with Uhuru's government.
As we cut to chase. Yes.
So the issue is here. Some things have to be done and some radical changes have to be done in this country. And I wish Kenyans to look at things openly and with honesty. We need to change our constitution and we need to have a Kenya that can run and everybody feels is Kenyan. One issue and the last issue is, let's remember that all communities are 47 and above, and all communities require to be part of the bread of Kenya. And when we had Kisi's making noise, it's not Kisii alone talking, and many other community. So if you need all Kenyans to be together, bring them to have a Kenya. And that's why I said, do we have Kenya in 50 years, 100 years to come? We need to have a constitution that will keep them there.
Moshendu, it has to be 30 seconds.
I'm glad that in the whole year we have talked about politics. I'll have to close on a note of we are in a Christmas season. We are in that season where we become generous to the less fortunate. So I would urge Kenyans as we cross and move on to the next year, find someone in your village who needs help. If you have it, give it out. And let's enjoy the spirit of Christmas. Let's give to those who need it. And please, don't give what is worthless to you. Give something that has worth in you that will leave you with a pinch. And that's how you know you have touched someone's life positively. So, and if you don't have anywhere to give, on 24th of December, come to my village in the Gio. We have something called the Gio Christmas Kite, doing the 14th year now. And we give to the less fortunate to enjoy Christmas with us. If you have something to give, you don't know where to give, hit the inbox of TV47.
Yes, we have a line on as well.
Yes, they will bring it into our. They will bring it into our doorstep so that we can affect the people's.
Maybe we should consider
positively.
if we have a kitty.
If it is for Christmas,
yes, that's fine.
I will bring not money. I'll bring clothes and many other things.
Fair
But
enough.
if it is for Kenya, we are fighting famine and giving Kenyan food, I will not.
No,
do the
we
work
We have
of
our
this
kitty.
government.
Look into our kitty and maybe
look,
consider this. Gentlemen, we have to
Listen.
Peter Moshendu.
Yes, this is not political ragaro.
Yes.
We are just saying we are giving.
Trust me, trust me, whatever he's done is progress. Because the last time I had him here, I was like, no. So please, let's just even...
No, we're not here.
Gentlemen, we have to close.
Free surgeries
Peter,
for Kenya.
yes, you do. I have had a friend.
That one I can tell you he does.
He
So
does.
I've already gained so much
Thank
for Kenya.
you.
So I cannot feed Kenya for government.
Thank you, gentlemen. We don't want to be sliced out of this space. So, okay, Peter Moshendu, the last speaker governance expert, Eric Ragalo, political analyst, as well as Tan Alusiola, civil rights defender.